Welcome to Ayurveda Yoga. This class is designed to balance the Pitta dosha. If you have no idea what Ayurveda or Pitta means, I'll do a little explanation. But let's get started in our first pose and I'll explain there. So for today's class, you're going to need either a bolster or maybe a pillow will work just fine, maybe two depending. So just find a pillow or a bolster and we're going to start. You can fold it in half if that's going to work better for you. And we're just going to start on our backs, opening up our chest. This class is for heart opening and kind of cooling down. So you can just place it, depending on the size of your pillow, just between the shoulder blades is our goal here. So you'll lay back on it. Maybe you want to stack two pillows and just let your arms out wide to the sides. I'm going to use my bolster because I have one here. Just showing the pillow option because some people don't have bolsters at home. So we're laying on our backs on the pillow or the bolster. Our arms spread nice and wide out to the sides. You can have your feet either on the mat with the knees bent. You can have the knees out wide in butterfly legs. Or you can have the feet and legs just out straight in front of you. Your choice, whatever feels most comfortable for you today. So just take a moment here to settle into your mat, opening the chest. You can close your eyes down if you like. And I'll just do a little intro into Ayurveda in case you are unfamiliar with it. So Ayurveda is the world's oldest health system. It's the sister science to yoga. And the main concept is that everything is made out of 5 elements. You have ether, air, fire, water, and earth. But to keep it simple, let's just say air, fire, and earth. So if everything is made up of these elements, that means you are 2. And it's very common that a person will have one element that is dominant in both their body and mind. So if you think of a person who has a lot of air element, that's a lot of wind, a lot of movement. You can assume the qualities of that element with the qualities. So air is wind, movement. Then that's called vata. If someone has a lot of air, that's called vata. Then if someone has a lot of fire element, that is called pitta, which is the class that we're doing today. So if someone has a lot of pitta, a lot of fire, they're hot, determined, they make great entrepreneurs, they're goal-oriented, but when we have too much pitta, too much heat, we can become frustrated, we can literally become hot-headed, have a temper. So in order to balance this, we need to do the opposite, because in Ayurveda, like increases like, and opposites balance. So if someone has too much pitta, too much heat, too much fire, we need to cool off the body, cool off the mind. And then we also have dominant earth element, which is called kapha. And this is, if you think of the earth element, it's like that grounding, that stable, nurturing sort of energy, supportive energy. So there's another class for vata balancing, another class for kapha balancing, but today we're doing the pitta. So we're on our backs, opening our chest, because sometimes pittas, when they become imbalanced, can think that their way is the only way. It's the stubbornness that only seeing things from one point of view. So this class will help us to open our hearts, have more compassion, and cool off. So from here, on our bolsters, that's my little Ayurveda speech. If your eyes were closed, you can blink them open. You can put a bend in the knees if they weren't already bent, and you can roll off your pillow or your bolster. Coming up to seated, you can just set it off to the side. We might use it later to finish in the same kind of pose. Let's do a cooling pranayama. So each dosha has a pranayama, a breath work that helps balance it. So this one's a cooling breath. So go ahead and come into a comfortable seat and try to curl your tongue. If this is your tongue, try to curl it like a hot dog bun. Like this. But if some people genetically cannot do this, that's okay. Just breathe in through your lips pursed like a straw. So that's one option, or you can do the curled tongue and breathe in through the curled tongue. Either way, breathe out through the nose, exhale normally. So that's going to be our breath. We'll do a few rounds of that. So either curl your tongue or purse your lips. We'll breathe in. And then out through the nose. Breathing in through the tongue or the lips. And exhale through the nose. Again, in through the tongue or the lips. Feel how that is kind of cooling the air. It's cooling and drying. And out through the nose. Let's do one more. In through the tongue or the lips. And out through the nose. So that's our cooling breath. Now, let's move into child's pose. Let's start to move our bodies. So come onto the knees, bring the big toes to touch, walk your hands forward, knees apart, and bring your forehead down to the mat. Try to have your bum on your heels if you can for child's pose. Take a few breaths here at center. And then let's walk our hands over to the left. Place the right hand on top of the left. Reach with the right fingertips, draw the right hip back. Breathe into that right side body. And then let's walk the hands over to the right. Left hand on top of the right. Forehead down. Draw the left hip back, reach the left fingertips forward. Breathe into that left side body. And then let's walk the hands back to center. Take a breath here, remembering that at any time, if you need a little break, you can come back to child's pose. And then let's inhale and bring ourselves into tabletop. So in tabletop, our knees are about hips width distance, stacked under the hips, our wrists under our shoulders, and our fingers spread wide. Let's roll through some cat-cows. So let's inhale, lift the tailbone, drop the belly, draw the shoulder blades together, and gaze up. Exhale, tuck the tailbone around the spine and gaze down. Inhale. Drop the belly. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Let's do one more round, inhaling. And exhaling. Then inhale to a neutral tabletop. Ground through the left hand, and then let's inhale, bring the right hand up to the sky for a twist. Gaze up at your right hand. Then exhale, we're gonna thread it through behind the left wrist, placing the shoulder on the mat, the right ear on the mat. Thread the needle. You can walk your left fingertips forward to the front for a little bit of a twist. Breathe here. And then let's bring the left hand back in front of the face. Push into the left hand. Inhale, lift the right arm back up to the sky. And exhale the right hand down to the mat. Let's do the other side. So ground through the right hand. Inhale, lift the left up to the sky for a twist. Gaze at your left hand. And exhale, thread it through behind the right wrist. Bring your left shoulder to the mat and the ear to the mat. And then walk your right fingertips to the front of the mat. Breathe here. And bring your right hand back to in front of your face. Push into the right hand so you can lift your left arm up to the sky. And exhale it back down into tabletop. Let's walk our hands a bit forward. Keep the hips and the knees where they are. Keep walking the hands forward until you can bring your forehead to the mat. So this is puppy pose, similar to child, but with the hips in the air. If you have the space for it, you can bring your chin to the mat. Heart opening puppy pose. Couple of breaths here, nice and steady. And then gently walk your hands back underneath the shoulders. Let's tuck our toes and lift our hips to the sky for downward dog. This might be your first one of the day. You can bend the knees, straightening the other, wagging the hips from side to side. Any natural movements you feel you need to take. Eventually, finding stillness. Maybe your heels make it to the mat, maybe they don't. Maybe you got a little bend in the knees, that's okay too. And then let's inhale, look at our hands at the front of the mat, and take a couple steps to meet our feet with our hands in a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on the shins, lengthen the spine, and exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. To the hands overhead, and exhale your hands into prayer. So we're in mountain pose at the front of our mats. Let's just do a little standing camel pose to open the heart, to prepare for camel later, for the full camel. So let's take our hands on our sacrum, which is that bone at the bottom of the spine, that flat bone. You can either have your fingertips down, as long as you can draw your shoulder blades together, or you can go for palms down but fingertips up. You can draw your shoulder blades together here. Either way is good. So choose your version. And then we'll gaze forward, engage your core, and start to lean back a little bit. You can push your hands into your sacrum, draw the shoulder blades together. Maybe you gaze up a little bit. We're not dumping into the low back, that's where we're engaging our core. For standing camel. And then gently coming back to neutral. Release the hands and bring them alongside the body for our mountain pose. Let's start to flow just a little bit. We don't want to get too hot because we're trying to cool off the heat in the body, but a lot of us sit a lot of the day, so we'll do a little bit of movement because that's always nice. So let's inhale, the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on the shins. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step one foot back at a time into plank. Inhale in your plank. And then exhale, drop the knees, the chest, and the chin. Inhale, slither forward for cobra. And then exhale, tuck the toes, push your seat back for downward dog. Inhale, look at your hands at the front of the mat. And take a few steps for your feet to meet your hands at the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Hands to the sky to touch. And then exhale your hands into prayer, head, heart, center. Round two. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or hop back into plank. Inhale in your plank. And then this time, exhale, lower to chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. And then exhale, downward dog. Inhale, look at your hands. And step or hop your feet to meet your hands at the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. And exhale, hands into prayer and heart center. Let's do one more round. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, step or hop back into plank. Inhale here. Exhale, lower. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. And then exhale, downward dog. Good. Take a couple breaths here in your downward dog. And then we're going to inhale the right leg to the sky. Exhale, draw it forward, bring the knee towards the right wrist and place the shin on the mat. We're setting up for pigeon pose. So maybe bring your knee back a little bit, straighten the left leg. So we're in our pigeon, but we're going to stay upright here. So the more parallel your shin is with the front of the mat, the stronger the pose is going to feel, most likely. But we don't need to go too intense. It's still near the beginning of class. I just wanted to take a moment to slow down so we don't get too heated in our movements. So we're in our pigeon. Let's place our right hand in front of our right shin. Bend your left leg and reach back with your left hand to try to grab the big toe edge of your left foot. If this is no way possible for you today, that's okay. You can maybe try with a strap or a towel, or you just stay in a regular pigeon pose. But it's nice to grab the foot on the big toe edge so that you can get a little bit of heart opening as well as quad opening. Take a couple breaths here. Maybe you can bring your heel a little closer to your bum. This is also a little bit of prep for dancer pose later in the class. One more breath, inhale. And exhale, gently release the foot back down to the mat. Bring both your hands forward. We'll tuck the left toes and gently bring yourself back into downward dog. Take your time getting there. And once you're there, notice the difference between the two sides. Maybe you feel a difference, maybe you don't. Well, let's do the other side. Let's inhale the left leg to the sky. And then exhale, draw it forward, bringing the left knee towards the left wrist. The left shin comes to the mat. You bring your right knee down, straighten out the leg. Setting up for your pigeon. We're upright. Maybe you have your left hand in front of the left shin and you go for that quad pec stretch on the other side. So bend your right knee and reach back with your right hand to try to grab that big toe edge of your foot. Maybe you need a towel or a strap to help you get there. Just feel the opening in the chest and in the quad. Maybe you draw the heel a little closer. It's a really nice pose to open the chest, open the hip flexors, which a lot of us spend a good portion of our day with those muscles shortened when we're seated. One more breath, inhale. exhale, let go of the foot, let it go down to the mat slowly. Bring both hands in front of you. We'll tuck the right toes and we'll push back into downward dog. Again, take a moment to notice, do you feel a little evened out now? Maybe you bend one knee, straighten the other. And then let's inhale, look at our hands at the front of the mat, and walk our feet to meet our hands. No forward folds. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way back up. Hands to the touch. Exhale, hands into prayer. Let's flow a little more. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, we're going to take a seat. So come into chair pose. Your feet can either be together or slightly apart for more stability. Find your chair, make sure we're not arching too much, so maybe you tuck your tailbone a little bit, engage your core. Arms are alongside the ears. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or hop back into plank. Inhale in your plank. And then exhale, lower. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, right leg rises. Exhale, we're going to step it through between the hands. Spin the left heel down, about 45-degree angle. And then we're going to inhale, rise up for warrior one. Warrior one, our shoulders are both facing the front of the mat, and so are our hips. We got a nice bend in the knee. Arms up. Let's widen the stance a little bit. So heel toe your right foot to the outside of the mat. Inhale. Exhale, let's clasp our hands behind our back. We're going to go for humble warrior. So inhale. Exhale, let's come forward, bringing our torso, our arms up. If this is too much for your hands, you can't reach, you can just grab hold of the forearms and come forward this way. So we're in our humble warrior. We're trying to bring our right shoulder towards our right knee. Arms up, head down. Humble warrior, because sometimes too much pitta creates a lot of ego. So we're remaining humble. And the next inhale, let's rise up. And unclasp the hands. Inhale the arms up. And then exhale, bring the hands back down to the mat. Maybe you need to heel toe your foot back to the center. And we'll step back into plank from here. However you get there. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. And then exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left leg to the sky. Exhale, we're going to step it through between the hands. Spin the right heel down about 45 degrees, just like the other side, and then we'll inhale, rise up for warrior one. Both hips are facing forward, both shoulders, arms are strong above. Inhale. And then exhale, sweep the hands behind us, clasp the hands or the forearms. Draw the shoulder blades together, inhale. And then exhale, we're going to tilt forward, just like the other side, for humble warrior. Trying to bring our left shoulder near our left knee, arms up, head hangs. Remaining humble. Maybe you had heel-toed that left foot out to the side of the mat for a bit more stability. And then inhale, let's rise back up. And release the clasp. Inhale the arms up. And exhale the hands back down to the mat. Maybe you heel toe the foot back to center. Maybe it's already there. And then we'll step back into the plank. Inhale in your plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Take a couple of breaths in your downward dog. And then let's look at our hands at the front of the mat and step or hop our feet to meet them. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, let's sweep the hands along the mat and come into a seat. And from here, inhale, straighten back up into mountain pose. Take a moment in mountain. Let's move on to another round of flow. Let's inhale, the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we're going to change it out. Take a big step back with the left foot into kind of like a runner's lunge. So lunge with the knee off the mat, but the hands on the mat. Ground through the left hand. Let's inhale, come into a twist. So rise the right hand up to the sky, kind of like we did in the beginning of class. Gaze at your right hand. Inhale. Exhale, bring the hand back down to the mat. You can drop the left knee as well. Keep the left toes tucked. And then we're going to sit back from here, straightening the right leg. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight. Maybe you walk the hands back a little bit as well for half split. Draw the toes towards the shin, so flex the foot. Inhale, have your spine long. Exhale, maybe you bend a little deeper. Inhale, re-bend the front knee, walk the hands forward again. We'll bring the arms up for our lunge. Inhale, lift the left knee as well. Now we're in our high lunge. So inhale here. Exhale, we're gonna cactus the arms and drop the left knee. Inhale, rise back up, the knee and the arms. Exhale, cactus arms. Drop the knee. Inhale, rise. Exhale, last one. Cactus the arms and the knee. Inhale, rise. Exhale, stay here. From here, ground through the left foot. We're going to inhale and rise up into three-leg mountain. So we're going to need to find some balance here. So maybe you look at a spot on the wall in front of you or the floor in front of you. Inhale, ready, let's go. Straighten the right knee, draw the left knee into the chest, the three-leg mountain. Flex the foot, find your balance. If you've stumbled, come back to it, all good. Inhale. From here, we're gonna exhale, keeping the leg where it is. We're gonna twist to the left. So left hand comes behind us, right hand is in front. Keep your arms where they are, bring your gaze to the front, find your balance, and then you're gonna bring your left foot back to meet your left hand and grab hold of the big toe edge, kind of like we did in that pigeon before. So inhale, bring our right arm up. We've got a good grip on our leg, on our foot. We're gonna come into dancer pose. So inhale, find your drishti, find your gazing point. And then on the exhale, we're going to start to tilt our torso and arm forward. Use your exhale to steady yourself. When you feel you've reached a comfortable height, a comfortable level, you can start to bring the left foot up. You can push the top of the left foot into the left hand for a little traction. Find your balance. Find your dancer pose. And then gently inhaling, bringing everything back up, taking your time, releasing the foot. Back to mountain pose. Sometimes when there's too much pitta, we're working, and we forget to have fun and play. And so to me, dancer pose is one of the funnest poses. You're still working hard, but it's fun. So let's do the other side to balance it out. We're in our mountain pose. So inhale the arms up. And then exhale, fall forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And this time we'll take a big step back with our right foot. Drop, oh no, keep the knee up. That's right, we're in a runner's lunge. So keep the hands on the mat and the knee off the mat. We're gonna ground through our right hand. And we're gonna inhale the left arm up to the sky for a twist, just like in the beginning of class. Maybe you draw your left hip back a little bit, right hip forward. Inhale, reach the fingertips up, lengthen. Exhale, bring it back down to the mat. We can drop the right knee, keep the right toes tucked, and on the exhale, sit back. Maybe walk your hands back, straighten the left leg. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight, whatever you're working with is totally fine. Draw your left toes towards the left shin. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, maybe you fold a little deeper. Half split. Inhale, rebend the knee. Walk the hands forward again. Inhale the arms up for that lunge. We're also going to bring the right knee off the mat as well. Find your high lunge here. Inhale. Exhale, cactus the arms and bring the right knee to kiss the mat. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, lower the arms over the knee. Inhale, rise. Exhale, tap the knee, cactus the arms. Inhale, rise. And stay for the exhale. Ground through that left foot. Find that point on the wall or the floor in front of you that you're going to gaze at, that you're using as a point of balance. And when you're ready, let's inhale, come into three-leg mountain. So straighten the left leg, draw the right knee into the chest, flex the feet. Find your balance here. Inhale. Exhale, we're going to twist to the right. So right hand comes behind, left hand is in front. Maybe you can gaze at your back hand. Then inhale, look forward, keep the arms where they are. You're going to bring the right foot back to meet the left. Right foot back to meet the right hand. Grab that big toe edge. Inhale the left arm up to the sky. Find your balance. Use your breath to steady. Inhale. And then on the exhale, we're going to gently tilt forward with the arm and the torso. Use your breath. When you've found a good angle for yourself, then you can start to lift the foot. You can push the top of the foot into the hand. Find dancer's pose. Inhale, gently rise back up. Release the foot, release the hand, come back to mountain. And take a breath here. Well done. Notice any sensations in your body, in your mind, in your breath. Maybe one side was easier to balance on than the other. And let's make our way down to the mat. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back into plank. Inhale in your plank. Exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. Good. We're going to do a pec stretch. So we're going to bring our arm about, let's start with the right side. So bring your arm about 90 degrees out to the right, kind of like those cactus arms we did. And then you're going to use your left hand. You can place your right ear on the mat. Use your left hand to roll your body on to the right hip. You can have both your feet stacked. Maybe the left leg comes and hangs behind. Maybe it reaches the mat behind you. For a pec stretch. So your arm on the right is like this, and you're peeling yourself open. So you're gonna feel a big stretch in the pec, especially if you work a job where you're kind of forward. So we're in our pec stretch on the right side. Breathe into it. Maybe you walk your fingertips on the right side a little bit higher. Different angles will feel different. We have 3 different pec directions of fibers, so you can play with this pose. There's different points of view, different ways to feel this pose in different bodies. Stay here for a few breaths. Notice how when you breathe in, changes, maybe it intensifies the stretch a bit. And then let's inhale, roll back to center on the exhale. And gently, let's come to the other side. So the left arm goes out about 90 degrees like that cactus arm. You can place your left ear on the mat. We're going to use our right hand to push ourselves onto our left hip. Maybe our feet stay stacked. Maybe your right foot hangs behind you. Maybe it makes it to the mat. Maybe you walk your left fingertips up a little higher. Notice if that feels better for you. Maybe you want to walk them down a couple inches. Play with it. Breathe deeply. Let your breath assist the stretch. Couple more breaths. Heart opening. Inhale. And on the exhale, gently roll back to the center. You can carefully push yourself back into child's pose, but let's have the knees together and arms alongside the body, forehead on the mat instead of arms in front. So child's pose variation, or I've heard this called embryo pose before, or you're like a rock. Just let the shoulders sink with gravity, kind of create some space in the sockets there. Feel the breath on the knees, on the thighs. And then gently rise back up so you're sitting on your heels. Let's place our hands behind us, fingertips facing our feet, pointing towards our feet there. We're going to inhale and lift our hips. You might not get very far, that's okay. And then exhale, bring them back down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. And bring yourself forward. Come up onto the knees, about hips width distance. We're going to do camel pose. So, a couple options in camel pose. I like to have my toes tucked when I do it. You don't have to. It's an option, you can have them flat as well. So for camel, we're going to place our hands like we did in that standing camel. So you can either have your palms, fingertips down on your sacrum or fingertips up. Either way, palms on the sacrum, draw the shoulder blades together. Gaze forward. Engage your core. Start to push your hands a little bit into the sacrum and lean back. Engage your quads. You can push your chest a little bit forward. Gaze up. Option to stay here, or you can take your hands to your heels and push your quads, your chest. Maybe you let your head slightly tip back. If your hands are on your heels, bring them back to your sacrum, bringing yourself back up to neutral. Untuck the toes if they were tucked, bring the knees out wide. And sit on your heels and walk your hands forward into child's pose. Let your forehead come to the mat. Let any compression release that was in the low back. It's okay for a little bit of compression as long as there's no pain. Take a couple of breaths here. Resting, counter stretch for camel. Okay, let's walk our hands back to our body. Swing our legs out in front of us so we're sitting on our bum. We're going to do butterfly pose. So bend the knees, let the soles of the feet come together. And if you want something a bit more intense, bring the heels closer to your groin, or you can go a little more on the restorative side and make more of a diamond shape, bringing the heels farther away. Maybe you stay upright, maybe you come forward a little bit. Play with the pose. It's different experiences for different people in this pose, so pick what's right for you. Might feel different each day as well. Be here for a few breaths, so you want to be comfortable. Maybe you find that edge. Soles of the feet together, knees out wide. It's a great pose for balancing Pitta. It releases a lot of heat. So it's a nice cooling pose. Stay for a few breaths. Nice, slow, steady breaths. If you're unable to take slow, steady breaths, you've maybe gone a bit too far, so take it back a notch. Pitta-dominant people tend to be quite competitive with others and themselves, so they're always trying to push themselves to the limit. And this class is about not going to your max, not going to your limit, just taking it easy. There's no competition. Let's take 2 more breaths together. Let's breathe in and out. In and out. Gently bring yourself back up if you were in a bit of a forward fold. You can use your hands to bring the knees back in. We'll If you windshield wiper the legs from side to side. We'll move into our next pose, which is called the double 90. So bring yourself to the right edge of your mat. And we're going to bring our legs both into 90 degrees. So the front leg, the right leg, the thigh is going to be parallel with the mat, and then you make a 90 degree with the shin. So kind of parallel to the front of the mat. And then the back leg will do the same. So make a 90 degrees, which is why it's called double 90. Imagine. And then we'll flex both the feet. You might need to adjust. I kind of fit in the mat's width. My second leg is pretty much parallel there, but you might have longer legs or shorter legs than me, so whatever works for you, as long as they're both about 90 degrees. If you're here and you're already like, oh my gosh, this is intense, you can ease a little bit to the right, leaning to the right. It should decrease the stretch a little bit. Maybe you're like, I could go a little more. So you can come onto your elbows over the right knee, resting here. Maybe you have your bolster and you come onto that. If you want to go even further still, you can bring the elbows and lean more over the right foot. So find which variation is going to work for you. Again, you don't have to go to your max limit. Just whatever honestly feels good for you today, without the ego involved. We'll be here for a few breaths. If you've taken one variation and you feel like easing out a little bit or easing deeper, you can take that. Maybe the pose is getting a little easier as we sit in it. Maybe it's getting a little harder. Either way, let's take one more breath. And then ease yourself back up from whatever variation you were in. So you're upright. Use your hand and draw your right foot, the heel in to the groin. And then use your left hand to draw your left knee over so that your foot comes to the outside of the right thigh. I'll turn to face you. So you'll be kind of in like the Lord of the Fishes prep there. So left heel, right heel is into the left hip area, and then right foot is on the outside. Left foot is on the outside of the right. Let's inhale here. Exhale, we're going to twist to the left. So left hand comes behind. You can grab the left knee with the right elbow, maybe you hook it. If this feels too intense, you can straighten out the right foot. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist a little deeper. Gaze over your left shoulder if you can. Then let's inhale back to center. Little counter twist, let's twist to the right. So right hand comes behind, left hand. Left elbow goes to the left knee. And then inhale back to center. And so if both your knees are bent, let's bring our knees to try to stack. You can have your feet further away from you or closer to you, whichever feels better. If this is super intense, again, you can straighten the bottom leg. Just try to have the knees stacked. So inhale here. Maybe you stay here, maybe this is enough. Maybe on the exhale, you walk the hands forward a little bit. Be honest with yourself, be honest with the ego, and which level is right for you. Let each breath, each exhale melt you a little deeper. Breathe into wherever you're feeling the tight spots. One more breath here. And then let's walk our hands back if you were forward folded. Unravel the legs. You can use your hands to help. Lean back, windshield wiper the legs from side to side. Releasing any leftover tension. And let's do the other side. So come to sit on the left edge of your mat. We're coming for that double 90. So left edge, left thigh is along the edge and made a 90 parallel with the front, and then the back leg will do the same, another 90 degree with the shin parallel to the right side of the mat. If here is already super intense, stay here. Maybe you lean to the left for a bit more ease. Maybe you come forward onto the elbows over the left knee. Maybe you come over the left foot. So find your variation with honesty, without ego. You might feel this pose quite strongly in the left glute hip area. Maybe you feel it more in the groin or hip flexor area. This double 90 pose is different for everybody. Different points of view, different feelings, different experiences. So know that today you may come into this pose, it might feel a certain way, it might feel different another day. If you're practicing with somebody else at home, maybe they're feeling it completely different to you. So just take note. It's the same pose, but a different experience, different point of view. Maybe you choose a different variation for the last few breaths of the pose. Try out another point of view, a different experience. Take one more breath in and out wherever you are. And then bring yourself back up. Use your right hand to bring that heel in. And then the right hand to draw your right knee, swing it over. So we're in that Lord of the Fishes setup. Maybe you straighten the bottom leg if you need to. Inhale here, lengthen the spine, and exhale, we're going to twist to the right. So right hand comes behind, left elbow, you can either wrap around the knee or hinge yourself. Maybe you have the leg straight. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale, gaze over that right shoulder. Inhale, center, counter twist for a second to the left. Left hand comes behind. And then inhale back to center. And whichever variation your legs are in, try to stack the knees. So if the bottom foot is straight, that's okay. Or you can have both bent. Try to stack the knees. Heels can be close to your body or further away. Inhale here. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you lean forward a little bit. Or a lot. Let your head hang. You're not working too hard in the poses. Try to keep that right hip on the mat. Do 2 more breaths, in and out, in and out. And inhale, walk the hands back up if you were forward folded. You can unravel the legs, lean back. Windshield wiper the legs from side to side. Eventually, going back to center. If you have your bolster or your pillow nearby, bring that in. You don't need to use it, but I'll show you an option with it. So I'm going to lay on your back. You can draw the knees into the chest. We're going to come into shoulder stand. So a few options here. You can either option 1, you can just have the legs up straight to the ceiling, arms resting alongside the body. Option 1. Option 2 is to actually kick your legs up and place your hands to support your low back and have the feet up in like an active shoulder stand. Or you can have a supported version where you take your bolster or your pillow, or maybe 2 pillows if your pillows aren't so big. You can lift your hips and place it under your sacrum, under the hips there. And then just lift your legs here to the ceiling. I'm going to go for the supported version. This feels quite nice. Just have your arms resting alongside the body, feet up. For this inversion, where our feet are above our heart. Nice pose for Pitta. Cooling pose. Maybe you make some circles with the ankles in one direction, then the other. Maybe you feel called to open the legs, feel a little groin stretch. Really slowing down the breath, cooling off the mind. Gently bringing the legs back down. If you have your prop, you can lift your hips and set it off to the side. If you're in the active shoulder stand, just bring yourself down slowly. Hug the knees into the chest. Rock from side to side a little bit. You can bring the knees out wide. Feet to the ceiling and grab either the big toe edge or pinky toe edge of your feet for happy baby. Sometimes the sacrum has a tendency to lift, so draw the sacrum back down to the earth. Have your neck relaxed. Get a good grip on the feet and just, instead of pulling your feet down, just like the weight of your own arms do the work. Happy baby pose. Then release the hands, bring the feet back in, give yourself one more hug, hug the knees in tight. And then release, open into Shavasana. You can take regular Shavasana just on the mat, arms out, legs out, eyes closed. Or you can take your bolster or pillow and finish today's class like how we started, where you either roll up the pillow and place it between the shoulder blades, or the bolster and come to open the chest. This can be quite nice way to finish. Again, opening the chest, opening the heart. Either way is totally fine. You can choose the leg options as well. Either feet up straight, you can have the knees bent, feet on the mat, or you can have the soles of the feet touching and the legs out wide, the knees out wide for butterfly legs. Choose your option. And just rest in your Shavasana. Taking note of how much fire element you feel inside yourself after the practice. You're feeling quite calm and cool. Maybe you're still feeling hot and feisty. Either way is fine. While we're in our Shavasana, I'm going to share a little story with you. It's a story of 5 blind men. So these 5 blind men, 5 stubborn blind men, 5 Pitta blind men, come across an object in their path. And this object is an elephant. And they all gather around it. Now obviously they are blind, so they cannot see what the object is, but they can still feel it. So the first blind man, he's standing at the leg of the elephant, and he's feeling it, and he says, "Men, we're stopped in front of a tree. I can feel that this is a tree." And the next blind man, who's standing at the side of the elephant, feeling the body, the torso, says, no, this is a brick wall. I feel a brick wall. The next blind man, he's standing at the front of the elephant, and he's feeling the tusk. And he says, "It feels like a sword to me. I think you guys are wrong. It's definitely a sword." And the next blind man is standing by the ear of the elephant, and he says, "Nope, you guys are wrong. I feel a fan. This is a fan." And the fifth blind man, he's standing at the back of the elephant, and he's feeling the tail. He says, "Nope, you're all wrong. It's definitely a rope. I feel a rope." Just let that story Filter through your head for a moment. In this class, from Pitta is our focus. We're focusing on these other points of view, letting go of that stubborn attitude that there's one way of doing things, my way or the highway. Come back to the story of the 5 blind Pitta men. All in front of the same object, the same situation, all having a different experience, a different point of view. Not one man was wrong, not one man was right. It's a different experience, a different point of view, the same situation. I invite you to start to deepen your breath. Fill the belly. Empty the belly. Let go your fingers and toes. Invite some movement back into the body. Can roll to your favorite side. If you've got a prop, set it off to the side as well. You can use your arm as a pillow. Rest here for a moment. Taking it slow. Eventually making your way back into a seated position. And let your palms rest on your knees. Eyes still closed. Remembering that whenever you feel that excess fire, that frustrated energy, maybe you're arguing with somebody, you're not seeing eye to eye, remember the story of the 5 blind men. The other person may be having a different experience, even though it may be the same situation. You're not right, you're not wrong, they're not right, they're not wrong. It's just different. And peace lies in accepting. Inhale. Bringing your hands into prayers in your practice, you can do that now. And say thank you for making it on the mat today, for practicing, for balancing the Pitta. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste. Blink your eyes open. Thank you so much.